Oh my
Really?
God. Well, yeah, the more DNA strands you have connected, the stronger you feel it. Oh, that's another thing, folks, you can ask for. You can just ask God to connect your DNA strands, and sooner, the next thing you know, you'll be hearing and seeing and knowing and higher intelligence. And
I've been experiencing some of those things already. I know that I've seen out of the corner of my eye on occasion spirit, and I really believe that I saw my friend Frank, who he was a producer here, and he passed away. It's going to be 2 years in December. I can't believe that much time has already gone by. But I was in a deli, and I felt somebody behind me, and I turned around, and I saw a man. I did, and he always wore a baseball cap, and this person was wearing a black baseball cap, about his height, but he had become very large in stature, but this person was kind of, you know, the way he was many years ago.
when he was younger,
When
yeah.
he was younger,
Mm-hmm.
okay? I turned around, and I looked, and then I turned back, and then I said, somebody's standing there? And I turned around, and nobody was there. So, and then I actually walked around the place to see if there was such a person in the place, and I didn't see anybody. Then it was hours later that it occurred to me, that was Frank.
Well, you know, this is just what I'm talking about. The veil is coming thinner and thinner, and so our psychic vision is getting better and better. And remember, the difference between the dimensions is only vibration. And it can be this far away, but the vibration, as the vibration rises up, we will start to see more because we're starting to reach that vibration.
Will only certain people, though, be able to do that? I mean, like you did mention that there were people who are evil. Will they be able to, or are they not open to that?
Well,
such
I
a
do
thing?
think that some of the, that there may be some gifted people who are in the into dark arts who probably have the ability, and they may or may not. You know, I'm not sure on that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure.
Because I would think that people on a lower vibration who are doing evil things, perpetrating not good things toward others or whatever, wouldn't be on the same level as to be able to take that stuff in and be able to understand it or be open to it.
Well, you know, if they're not open to it, there's nothing we can do except the vibration raise.
Pray for them.
And you can pray for them, of course, but you know, I'll tell you what, that's a good thing to do, is to pray for them. And if they accept it, hopefully their soul will accept it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I see. Yeah. Yeah. Now, we were talking about time, and we were saying that we weren't going to be paying attention to linear time. Now, you didn't seem to know what that has to do with our watches and our clocks. But as far as time is concerned, what is happening with time? And you're saying it's going faster.
Yeah.
I even mentioned that I felt the earth going faster.
Oh, yeah. Well, each shift that we have, we actually speed up. And so when you felt that quickening was probably just when we had a shift, because then it's seeable, feelable, because now suddenly there's a difference. But then our bodies get acclimated and we don't feel it as much. And then when we adjust, then it's time for another quickening. Now, it is my understanding that we will not have linear time. I'm not sure how it's going to work with the clocks. That's what we were talking about.
Right, you were saying that. But
however, I do know that time has sped up so much that a 24-hour day is more like a 17-hour day right now. So that's why it doesn't seem like you're getting nearly as much as done as you used to. I mean, I used to be able to accomplish 20, 30 things in a day. Geez, if I get 5 things done now, I'm lucky.
Yeah, if you get a few things done, you feel like you have a sense of accomplishment.
I do believe that how that's going to occur is we're going to be absorbing our past aspects and our future aspects when we're ready on a spiritual, mental, emotional basis. And thus there will only be now in time. So I think that is how it's going to come about.
But what do we do about the fact that yesterday it happened and there will be a tomorrow?
I'm not quite sure on that.
I mean, they say, I mean, it's my understanding that we should live in the moment anyway.
Yeah.
You know, what's happening right now is what's happening and what's most important. Don't worry about what happened yesterday. Don't worry about what tomorrow's going to bring. It'll take care of itself. Just worry about what's happening right now.
Right, and that's where we should stay, because you'll find your happiness in the now moment. When you're thinking about the past, good, bad, or indifferent, you're not in the now. When you're thinking about the future, you're not in the now. The way to go with the flow, with the highs and lows, is to stay in the now. Ride those waves like a porpoise.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's hard, though, to, especially if you're, if you're alone and it's quiet and you think about what happened with this one or that one in the past, or what you're expecting to happen in the future. It's hard to stay in the now all the time.
It is. It's a matter of training yourself and catching yourself, and then using that emotional transmutation technique we talked about to get rid of those feelings of sadness or grief or whatever, and then positively co-creating what you want to do now. What excites you now?
Co-creating what you want to do. I mean, supposing like right now you're just home watching television, that's not really exciting. It's just something to do. Right.
But if you sit there consciously and think about, what do I want in my life right now?
At this moment.
Yeah. And not when you're watching TV and you're focused on something else, but when you're thinking about, what do I want now? What do I want to change to get to where I want to be and who I want to be now? Like, what's your future goal that you see yourself doing? If you can picture yourself doing that, you can take those tiny little steps towards where it is you want to be. And then every day, do a little something towards it to stay in the now.
Such as, I've been exercising. I would like to trim down a bit. And I have been working on that goal, although it has been very slow. And sometimes I even say to myself, is it worth it? What am I doing? Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then I convince myself to keep plugging at it.
Well, that's one aspect of it. Maybe you can find, let's say you find a beautiful dress that you would love to wear.
But it's the wrong size.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe you get it the next size down, and then that's your incentive.
Right.
Or maybe you plan a trip to go someplace and you say, okay, it's my 25th school reunion. I'm going to lose that extra 10 pounds and get toned for that. You know what I mean?
In other words, have a goal to...
Yeah, have something to look forward to, consciously co-create. But even then, I mean, that's a nice goal, but I'm talking about something that you want to do that you can create.
You mean like take a trip or something, or?
Well, just how you do the shows, the TV shows. What's your next step?
Oh, I see. I've been 13 years now, as I said before, and I just take it one show at a time, and whatever comes, because usually I believe that I am being supported in doing this. I've been doing it for 13 years, so something must be supporting me. My guests come from usually places where sometimes I don't expect.
Well, I'll tell you what, like for instance with myself, one of my next projects is I'm going to write the book we were talking about with cancer on why cancer comes back and how to keep it from coming back, because it needs to be healed on a spiritual, mental, emotional basis, not just physical. So that's a project that I know is in my future.
Okay.
I know, for instance, that I'm going to be moving soon, so that's a project that I'm looking forward to decorating and picking out my colors and putting a picture in my head, and these are creative things that I know I'm going to do. I know I'm working on my TV show, so that's another creative thing. And, I do my lectures, so I start to plan up my itinerary. You know what I mean? I like having those little things to look forward to, because what's a day if you get up and you don't have anything that you want to do?
That's true.
You want to always have something you get up that you're excited about, that you want to do.
Even if it's just hang around the house that day.
That's right. I mean, you know what? That's a plan too. Hey,
it is.
Isn't it a plan?
I'm going to watch
say,
TV today.
Yeah, I'm going to relax. I'm going to be a vegetable. I'm going to watch all my Harry Potter movies. I mean, it's a plan, right?
Oh yeah.
I like a plan. I'm a planning girl.
Right. Yeah. So you're saying that we should plan things for ourselves.
Sure.
Makes life interesting and happier.
Well, when we create, we are co-creating, because remember, we're all just an atom in the body of God. And God creates every day, and we are an atom in the body of God. So when we co-create is when we're happy. Mm-hmm. And what is a higher vibration than happy?
That's true.
And joy. And love. Mm-hmm. No higher vibration.
Right. When you're feeling those feelings, you're at a very high vibration.
And then everybody can feel it too. And then they want to feel it. And they get raised up by that vibration.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes you kind of rub off on people too. And your exuberance will make them feel a little bit higher in a higher vibration.
That's right, and you do, because remember, all of our auras are commingling. Right now, my aura fills this whole room. Well, you're in there, the crew's in here, our audience is here, so everybody is feeling these vibrational waves. So yes, of course, that can only be.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're sharing the same energy, we're sharing the same air, and we're sharing the same space.
It's the same thing if you're going to be a downer and you bring the people around you down with you.
Right, right, right. And nobody wants that. Nobody likes that. Nobody needs that.
No, as a matter of fact, people that are all gloom and doom, you try to stay away from.
Nobody wants to be in that company, you know.
No.
You try to lift them up.
Yeah, you try to, and if you can, that's good. Yeah, so tell us more about the shift. What can we, as normal, everyday human beings, expect from 2012? What should we be looking at or feeling or seeing by, let's say, the end of the year?
Well, I think, just like you were saying that you could see Frank out of the corner of your eye, mm-hmm. I think that the veil will be thinner. I know that we have 4 shifts in August.
4 in August.
4.
Now, this is August 10th.
This is, yeah, and we just had a major one. It seems to be going around the moon stages, so like the full moon, the new moon, the quarter moons, and so forth, the rising moons. It seems like that is when the energy is being pushed in. So roughly once a week.
So in other words, now today's August 10th, so we've had a week and a half of the month so far go by. So we've had 1 shift. In a few days, we're expecting another one. And the 3rd week and the 4th week.
Yep, every week. But this particular one with the Lion's Gate, it opened on the 8th, and I don't think it will close until the 12th. So we're going to be feeling those vibrations going on the downswing now, because I'm starting to feel much better. I can always tell by my body. If I feel energetic, fine, but when suddenly I'm like, oh, feeling like I'm slogging through mud, I know something is happening energetically. And we will continue to have shifts. I think that 10-10 is going to be big. 11-11 is going to be huge, mm-hmm. and then of course we have 12-21, and that is the end of the Mayan calendar, and that is what is going to propel us into the new age. But we're working our way up that mountain. We're working our way up that mountain, and I don't think it's going to be suddenly everything's going to be day and night. I think it's going to be continual, but it will be much easier after that.
Easier?
Energetically, I think people will be more in tune. I think people are going to be more awakened and more open to exploring, and I see it. Do you remember when we did that, the show on the auras, and we showed all the colors and everything? Mm-hmm. I don't think we addressed the one thing that I'm going to talk about now, but there is a graph in there that talks about the yin-yang balance, and it shows it on if it's even, if it's like this, or whatever. Now, 5 years ago, men were like totally out of whack, like this. But suddenly they're like this.
Mm-hmm. In other words, they're evening out. Evening
out. And I've noticed in the past 2 years, I've noticed a lot of new people suddenly being drawn. They're going into the Hall of Learning, it's called, and that is when suddenly they want to read, they want to learn, they want to know, and now they're opening up to their spirituality, to their divine nature. And it's only going to expedite.
So you think that the human race is heading more towards spirituality, that we will see people being more spiritual later on?
Oh, yes, and more evolved, too.
And more evolved.
More evolved, definitely. We're evolving into a higher species.
Yeah, well, I hope so.
That's what we're doing.
What do you think we can expect, like they're talking about 12/21, this is supposedly the date. What do you think that we should expect on that day?
A lot of people think there's going to be like a
Armageddon or something.
Yeah, a lot of people think there's going to be 3 days of darkness without the sun. A lot of people think that there's going to be a pole shift. I think that we've evened an awful lot out. I think we've evened an awful lot out. And if anything, I think it's going to be a giant celebration, if not here on Earth, upstairs, because they're going to be saying, yes, we made it. And that's really what I think. I think we're actually just about over the worst of it, and I don't even think that energetic attunement is going to be as powerful as the one we just went through with the Lion's Gate opening.
Oh, really?
I don't, because it's getting easy. It's going to expedite and go a little faster, but we're acclimating very quickly, and I think we're going to be just fine. No 3 days of darkness, no 3 days without electricity, sheer upliftment.
So people are going to be in a good mood then?
Oh, people are going to be feeling great.
Tell me, I'm just remembering one of the other 2 shows we did. At the end of the show, you were saying something about 1,000 years of peace.
Yes, this is the 1,000 years of peace coming in. I'm glad you brought that up because, you know, it was promised in the Bible, 1,000 years of peace. Well, you know, the 1,000 years of peace is coming because we will awaken and realize that when we hurt another country or another person, we're hurting ourselves. And also, what affects me even more is we're hurting God. Think about this.
Oh, yeah.
We're an atom in the body of God, and
if
then
you
we're going to
hurt an animal, you're hurting God. If you hurt a fly, you're hurting God, because He made everything.
Right. And then it's like, say you stab somebody. Hey, you're stabbing God. I mean, if you put that in your brain, I mean, you got to start thinking deep on that.
And you have to know that God is disappointed in you for doing something like that.
And when people come to this consciousness, and when they're in communion and telepathic, and they can talk to God and God can talk back, they're going to realize that this is not the way to live. You know, and so things, I believe, are going to be much better. We're going into the golden age. Going into the golden age, people. That's where we're going, the golden age.
Where people will probably, I guess, get along better, understand each other better, love each other more. And
I think that we're going to have more community building. Even maybe where, say, developments of people will buy in the same development. Say, like spiritually minded people will be with spiritually minded people.
Well, they say we all hang out together and, you know, in different groups.
Yeah. But larger. I mean, communities coming more together and people working together. Like, look at the movement going on right now with the 1% and the 99%. Look at the 99% movement where they're staging sit-outs and things like that. When did we have groups of people coming together like that since when? Maybe the 60s, the 70s? Mm-hmm. People are starting to come together now, and young people too.
But do you think that's not a good thing?
Oh, no, I think it's a wonderful thing. I think it's a wonderful thing that groups of people are getting together to make things better for the world.
If they're making things better. But if they're out there like those groups of people that were, I don't know if they're still in the city doing those things, but they weren't making anything better. They were making things worse.
Well, you know, I really think that some of those people are plants from, let's just call them the bad guys, to stir up things so that it cast a bad light on what they're trying to do.
Yes.
So I don't believe that they were the true occupiers.
That's what I mean, yeah. So you don't know when people are coming together if they're going to accomplish something good or bad.
We just have to be aware that there are plants to make the good guys look like they're not so good or whatever like that. If we have that in our minds and there's no resistance, there's no problem.
Right, right. Well, let's just hope that, you know, a lot of these people will just come to their senses, too. You know, I mean, is that what we can possibly expect, that there'll be people that'll have an awakening and say, oh my goodness, I've been doing it wrong all this time?
I really do think it. I think people are already doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, but I do see that at the same time it widening. The cycle repeaters who are ground in their ways and they're not changing. They've decided they're not changing.
There are people that go around the same mountain time and time again with the same result, and they just keep doing it.
And that's called karma.
That's right.
That's called karma.
Karma, yes, because you see people like that, and you say, well, they brought that upon themselves.
That's a big one, gang. You know, if you can ask God to transmute some negative karma once a month only, you will see your life improve 100%.
So in other words, you're asking God to transmute negative karma in your life.
Into grace. Mm-hmm.
Into grace.
Into grace. Because, and even light workers, they, like for instance, I had 1 year on my 50th birthday. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. I'm revealing my age. On my 50th birthday, I got this huge sign from God. It was a holograph on my courtyard wall. I come down in the morning and there on the wall, a huge symbol, and I say, what does that mean? Well, it was a symbol that all my karma was washed. I was done. It had all been transmuted. I had solved it all. Guess what? When you break into higher levels or dimensions, there is karma bound there.
So you have to start all over again with something else.
So now you have to start all over again.
Uh-huh.
So I think karma is never ending, because I just think that's the way it is.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think, but hopefully, because you're doing good things and you're blessing the earth, that the karma will be a blessing to you.
I saw a cartoon on Facebook that said, karma is only a bitch if you are. It gave me a good laugh for the day.
Oh, that's true. That's funny. Yes. Karma's only a bitch if you are. That's a good one. I like that.
Me too. Me too.
That's funny. That is good. So, well, talking about karma, I mean, you know, yeah, whatever you do is going to come back to you. So if you're a bitch, you're going to get that kind of stuff back.
Yeah.
You know, if you're out to get somebody, or if you're not doing the right thing, not taking care of God's earth the way you're supposed to, or not being kind to others or kind to animals, yeah, you're going to get it back.
Of course.
You know, you're not going to like it either.
When you talked about that going round and round, when you keep seeing that same situation circle back, it's because you are there to learn that lesson that you haven't learned yet. And
you're going to keep going until you learn it.
Right. So you might as well learn it and bite the bullet.
Well, there are a lot of people that don't believe that they think that they can keep doing the same thing and eventually they'll get a different result.
Yeah, but that's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Who said that? Einstein, I think, said that.
Might be. Could be. Probably.
I don't know.
It's the truth, but you know, there are people that think that they can get away with this or get away with that, and then they wonder why their lives are miserable. Meanwhile, they're out there and they're doing things to other people with their mouths or whatever, and then they find themselves in bad situations and they wonder why. Oh. Now, well, look what you just did to so-and-so. I mean, what do you expect? Right.
Well, you know what? All that's going to change, I truly believe, because people will awaken to this info. I think it'll be inherent in people's psyche, so they'll just know. Because, you know what? That is a true gift. I was born with it. Many people are born with it, and many people will be awakening to it where they just know it's the wrong thing to do.
Usually you do. As a matter of fact, they say that when we die, we don't have to stand before God and be judged. We judge ourselves.
Yeah.
Because when we die, we know what kind of life we led. We know if we were out there doing cruel things to people or animals or to the earth. We know what we've done. We know if we embezzled money or we, you know, burned down a building or whatever.
Yeah, I understand too that you feel the pain that you inflicted on somebody.
That's right. You feel the pain that you have inflicted, and you understand what you put them through at that point.
That must be an awful hard thing to do.
Well, you know, I think that all of us, none of us really go through life without inflicting pain on somebody. You know, we've all broken hearts. We've all had broken hearts. We've all done things or said things that we might have regretted later or maybe not. But, you know, so I imagine that all of us have that kind of thing that we're going to have to face at that time. But by and large, though, if you've changed your life and you have become a better person, made yourself a better person, then I think that maybe that might be lessened a little bit, or it well, definitely won't be as much because you've changed yourself. True. And only you can change you.
Right.
Nobody can change you but yourself. And if you want to change and you want to become a better person so that you can improve your karma, you have to do it yourself.
I know, and that's the thing people don't realize. You know, you're born alone truly, and you die alone. No matter how many people you have surrounded you, it's still you and you. So
and you have to live with yourself.
Right, and that's what you face when you go before, when you cross over. You are facing you. So let's make it a good one.
That's right. Let's make it a good one. And in the meantime, I'd like to thank you for being here today. It was such an interesting conversation that we just had, and I hope that our audience also enjoyed it and learned something from it, because it was really chock full of information. So I am going to just say thank you to you, and I hope that you'll come back again, and I'm sure that there are other things that we can talk about in the future.
I would love to come back, and thank you for having me on, because I can talk about on any subject you want to talk on.
Okay, very good.
Okay?
Excellent.
Thank you, my dear.
Take care now.
Bye, everybody.
Everybody take care. Goodbye. Good night.